I'm back for another podcast. I guess back by popular demand. I know there's a lot of topics, a lot of new things that have popped up in the last few months since we last had it. So I guess we'll just go quick introductions here. Mike, Gavin, you guys want to do another quick introduction? I know we had this talk only a few months ago, and then we'll get into the topic of recruiting, starting with kind of what to expect for 15, 16U kids.
Well, I'll lead since I'm the oldest and the best looking, so I'll go first of this group. At least I have the most hair of the group, I think.
Calm down now.
My name is Michael Weinstein. I am finishing year 33 of grassroots basketball. I am the head of Fundamental U and Elevate U and High Academic Showcase. I created Joy the Game and Rising Stars and was the first private facility in our state. And I'm very lucky that I get to help a lot of people in a lot of different roles be successful. And I'm very proud. I'm pretty sure, I think I've sent the most kids to play college only because I'm the oldest in the state.
You might be the oldest.
Yeah.
I'm Gavin Sullivan. I direct MidPro Academy. This is year 22 for me. So I'm a decade behind Big Mike down there. But all the things that kind of he said, just blessed to be able to help kids and change their lives, for the better, getting them, college exposure.
I
Perfect.
actually saw Gavin play when he was a kid. He doesn't remember.
Yeah, you keep aging
Long time
yourself.
ago.
Yeah,
Hey, it's okay. Listen, I think it gives me a lot of years of wisdom. Some good,
that's a
some
fact.
bad. Some wisdom's good, some's not so good.
It is. Yeah, and that's part of why, I got you guys on here. I think it's a great there's a lot of knowledge to be spread. So I'll basically just be facilitating most of this. We'll start with a conversation that is obviously very top of mind now with the live events coming up. But I know a lot of kids, particularly in June, were either concerned or questioning kind of what to expect recruiting wise, with the various rules that have gone out. What we're going to talk about to start is kind of how each class should be looking at recruiting going into the live event. So first, I guess maybe easiest one is with 2029. So what is that 15U class? What do you guys think they really should be looking at from a recruiting standpoint? How important do you think that is? And what should kind of be the focus for kids in that class? And Gavin, I guess we'll start with you for this.
Yeah, 15U is just the beginning of the process. You're just getting used to what high school basketball and high level basketball is about. 14 and under is all junior high. Yeah, you're going to have some big junior high kids, but 15U is a totally different monster, as is 16 and 17. Recruitment honestly doesn't happen for 99.9% of 15U kids, and the ones that they do are either 6'8" and above, or they're playing 16 or 17U already in that aspect. So it's just about development. And I know Mike's going to talk about it a little bit, but like just the exposure to the elements of the game at that age is what it's about. It's not about getting recruited or having college eyes necessarily on you. It's about understanding all the little nuances of, oh, hey, speed, extra size, making the right plays, playing harder, playing with better people. So I mean, in a nutshell, I think that's what a lot of people miss at 15U is the real purpose of it.
Yeah, I would agree and add to that. Like every day you get a chance to play is a blessing to begin with. And if you have a chance to play with and against better players, that's what you should be thinking about and improving your game. And the only way you get better is playing. So I would tell any 15, I mean, it's very rare 15s are getting recruited today. Like we have two top 15s playing up on our 16 Elevate team, and they've done great because they took it and understood it. It was about exposure to getting better, not worried about college exposure. And I'm really proud of both those kids that they made a lot of improvement. Um, I would tell any parent, like, I wouldn't worry about recruiting until they get to 17 because this whole thing has changed so much in the last 2 years. And it's going to now another change with the 5-and-5, which we'll talk about. Um, Slow down the noise of recruiting. Don't worry about that. Worry about the exposure of growth. And growth comes from competing against better players, with better players, learning different roles. That's the benefit for exposure for 15s and 16s, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, honestly, with the way eligibility is working now, college coaches aren't looking to do anything with, they really never have with 15U kids. And just in general, right? Because you guys have probably seen this a good amount. Because I know this question comes up all the time, and parents are reaching out like, "Oh, why is so and so getting these offers as a freshman? I'm not." Can you guys talk a little bit about what that actually is in terms of guys getting offers at that point? Because to me, it's irrelevant, but I'll let you
I
guys
want to
go
start
into it.
first.
Yeah, go ahead.
No offers at 15s and almost all 16 offers, unless you're, as like Gavin said, an elite kid, mean nothing. The college coaches don't know what their rosters are going to be in 3 months. So they can't do stat players and figure out their rosters. Doesn't make sense. Just in the 17s in the spring, they don't look at the 17s until the spring live just to get names for their lists. So anyone who's got an offer at 50s, 60s, they're either an elite player or it doesn't really matter because that offer is probably go ahead, try and take that offer. See what happens.
Yeah, I actually write this every year in the spring. I think there's three types of offers. There's committable ones, which Mike was talking about for the elite guys. Your top of the line guys that are no brainers. That guys, hey, we'll put the Pettigrews and the Cole Kellys and guys of that nature that are above their age in recruitment.
The
Hey,
one percenters. The
yeah,
1%.
they'll take them now. Then there's the futures offers, what we call them, that they like the guys and they're going to offer them to get in early, but they still own the power whether or not you could commit. Hey, we don't want your commitment right now. Hey, just hold off, man. We're still watching you. Or no, we're not taking you right now. And then we all know it. We're in the business. There's the favor offer where, hey, man, offer our guy. We know it's not committable, but hopefully it keeps them or it makes them happy and the family can use it or the kid can use it as a social media post but it's never there. It's never committable and it's never that's the only time you hear from the school. So that's something that I try to cover with our players all the time, or those three things, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of noise because Twitter's so loud, and so is Instagram. So
Right.
Yeah, and I think, 15U, again, I guess before we go to 16U, improve at the game of basketball, right? Learn experiences, understand what your game is. And if you're actually playing at the 15U level as a 15U kid, you might be playing against kids that might not even play JV last year. So if we're being completely honest, you can't even really gauge where you're at. Your goal is to try to play with and against the best players that you can. And I think that's, great advice that you guys gave for both of that. Now to 2028, because I know June was a busy month for a lot of them just with initial outreach. What would you guys say is kind of your recruiting advice or just general development advice for that age group, which would be 16U for these guys?
Well, first, I'd like to say what you just hit, I thought was really important. The 15s, like you got to keep getting better, whether you're a 15 or a 16 or 17, all the way until you get to college. So sometimes kids need to be on 15s to build confidence. Maybe they're not physically strong enough, and that's great exposure for them because they're building confidence to get better. Some 15s, they need to be pushed the envelope to move up a year, just like a 16 might move up to take their game to the next level. And they don't realize, even though it's harder and they're struggling, it's not as easy. They're developing a lot of things, one, their own internal strength to deal with stuff. And people are like more impressed with their improving. Like I said, in our R215s, they struggled terribly in the beginning with the 16s playing up, but by the end, they did great, and they didn't realize how great it was going to be for them until they're like, now they get it. Like, wow, I got a lot better. I feel good about this. Because there was times we always had the conversation: should we put a 15 only 15 so he maybe feels more confident. As far as the 60s is when the coaches are adding more names now, right? You're separating the lists. I think it's more of a separation is how I look at it with the 16s. We had a couple of kids who got offers. To Gavin's point, they're not no 16 offer unless you're an elite kid is committable. Um, I tell our 16s who got the offers, I say, great, smile, that's great. You got a long way to go. Just keep going forward because right now you're a name on a list, which is great.
yeah, I feel the same way about 16s. The top, 1% are going to get all the traction, and everybody else is, still fighting for their worth. Body's got to change, their skills got to change, their IQ's got to change. But 16U is I think is truly the beginning of most players' recruitment in the sense of you're starting to figure out where you stack up. And I think that's the biggest key in between 15 and 17 is your 16 you're figuring out, okay, do I need to get stronger? Do I have the size? Do I have the skill? Like how am I adjusting? Because everybody's starting to even out a little bit. Hey, guys are catching up in height. Guys are catching up in athleticism. Guys are catching up into the strength category. And everything starts to kind of fall into, I would almost say rows. Guys that are ready, guys that are almost there, guys that are trending up, guys that are trending down, guys that, hey, they're probably low level college guys, guys that are just high school guys. It just 16U is the first year where I think you can start to maybe point people in a direction. But then there's still, a big change to that 17U as well.
I'll tell you what it does do. If you really want to be a player, whether you be a Division 1 player, Division 3 player, doesn't matter. If you really want to be a player, if you can't realize at 16 that you got to go after it, that you got to commit to the grind, that it's not easy. You have to have a chip on your shoulder that you want to take on the world and always compete. Like that's where the separation starts to happen. I think at 16, real kids, whether they're good players or not good players that really want it, dig in. And then the other kids are finding reasons why it's not going their way. That would be the biggest thing I'm telling you, 16th growth um, for the exposure of being a player.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think there's a bigger disparity. And I think even from a high school coaching standpoint, that sophomore to junior year is when we get the most drop-offs, right? Like that's when you're going to have more of the kids that are multi-sport maybe decide they want to focus on another sport, right? That you're
Yep.
either in or you're out. And I think that is kind of where that gap is. And to Gavin's point, you start to see the bodies start to look closer to what they're going to, right? You're going to have late bloomers here or there, but puberty's starting to catch up. So if you're not you might have been a monster as a 15U kid, and then you realize at 16U that you didn't grow anymore and everybody else did, and now you're kind of just another guy. I think it's a reality check for a lot of kids too. Obviously, as you guys mentioned, offer wise, 2028s, kids may get some. I think a lot of the ones that you get in June are interest ones, to be honest. They're just looking to see, hey, I'm really impressed with this kid. Let me see if I can maybe get on his list. It's not really as serious, except for those top guys you guys mentioned. So I do think 2028 is a year where you guys are generally going to be looking to find some level of understanding. And you guys mentioned, kind of understanding levels maybe at that 2028 year. From a parent perspective, how do you guys think parents should go about that in 2028 and for 2027 as we transition into that conversation?
Well, listen, the first thing for parents is love your kids and give as much positive support as you can, but help them understand like you want to do this, it's going to be hard and you're not going to get everything you want and you're going to have bad days and tough days. And don't worry about everything else that's out there or what other people say. Like, play. So, the first thing I would tell any parent, commit to the process of get as good as you can get and it's going to work out. You're going to find out what you are instead of just trying to say all the things you want. That's great. We all want things. I have plenty of things that I want. You're not going to get all those things. So that would be the big thing I would tell parents, like breathe. As long as your kid's working at it, as long as your kid's dedicated to it, right? He's doing his schoolwork, he's busting his ass, he's weightlifting, he's eating properly, he's doing his classwork, and he wants to take on the world. It doesn't matter what level he is. Then support. I always tell the parents all the time, support your kid if he wants to go for something. But if he starts wavering, don't make it easy for him to drop out. Keep it black and white with him. You want to be a player? That's what you got to do.
Agreed. And I think to go along with that of just staying the course is, you know, you can't compare yourself to anybody else. I talk about fruit, with our with our players about this is apples to oranges. Hey, you guys are both basketball players. You're both the same fruit. You're both fruit, but an apple and an orange have totally different flavor profiles, totally different things. So, like, hey, Northern Illinois might like this kid because he's got this, this, and this, and SIUE doesn't like him because they're looking for something in this category over here, and so I think too many parents, kind of compare their child's recruitment to somebody else's or one program to another's program's recruitment, and I'm just like, it all works itself out 99% of the time. Most kids end up right where they should be to have success. I hate to say it like that as a program director, but it's true.
Well,
It does work it
I'll
out.
bounce back a little bit on that. I think this is important to talk about program. It's not every program is not the programs are not apples to apples. This is important.
No, no, I agree with that.
Um, listen, the first and foremost thing for a parent is to support the kid and get the kid to buy into the work ethic, right? The bottom line is if you're trying to be a college basketball player, you can only go to one college. So worried about a million offers or who's getting this or that makes no sense. You could be an engineer and you get an offer from school X that doesn't have an engineering school. What does that do for us? You want to be an engineer? It doesn't make sense. So what are we talking about? Don't worry about that what other kids get or so on. But program wise, and this is I think it's a really important thing. I hear all these different comments on social media about programs. If you're a parent, you should yes, you should ask questions. You should do your due diligence. You should actually read people's histories. You should read program histories. And you should ask what people think of programs, no doubt. And there's going to always be good and bad in every program. But if I need to find a good lawyer, I'm going to do the research. When I did my hip surgery, I met with 4 different doctors. I did a lot of reading. I found the guy I felt the most comfortable that could do what I needed to do for me to get what I wanted. I would say the same thing with a program. Find a program that knows what they're doing, that has a history of what they're doing, and doesn't have all these things and talks and generals, or has the fanciest shoes, the fanciest gear. You want really good coaching, you want development, and you want a program that is actually in the middle of this. If you want to be a college player, like I know Gavin talks to a million college coaches. He knows we talk all the time. I talk to this guy. You're talking to this guy. I mean, I talked to 15 coaches today. Like this thing changes constantly. So whether you go to Gavin's program, my program, or program X, pick the program you think is going to give your kid the things that you want to stand for, value wise, experience wise, and knows what they're doing. I don't know how to do law, but I know how to tell the kids the right information to be a good player. And I talk to a million schools for those kids. I actually talk to the schools. I know Gavin does this. How many AU programs are doing that? Like regularly, picking up the phone, setting rosters, communicating, finding what they like. What do you not like? Who are you looking for? Here's what I have. Do you know why kids, do you know why so many college coaches go to Gavin's games and my games? Because we work the phones. We want to have a history of kids that have done well at every level. And we love what we do. And we work the phones. So we have history of success, passion for what we do, and we work. So I was a light parent. If you're serious about being a college athlete, find a program that does those things. And there are programs out there that do those things.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think, as you guys touched on, and that's a key point, and I think maybe you guys don't even realize it as much of an impact as it has, but when you have programs that consistently churn out kids that also have a certain level of character and work ethic, it kind of goes to the college coaches to know that they have a level of safety and security with going after those programs. So, I think as it relates to, I guess, comparing, I know that's the first thing, Gavin, you talked about, you know, two different kids, right? There's no way two kids, even if they're the exact same position, same height, even if they're in the same AU program, there's no way those two kids are the same in terms of what they want in a school, where they would fit, where their emotional capabilities are at, where they're at academically, completely different, right? They could have the exact same skill set and their recruiting journey is completely different just because of what they're looking to do. And I think that's the biggest thing because I know with social media, parents really, oh, so and so got this write up, they got this article, they got this ranking. And then when you really think about it, Mike, as you mentioned, you're only going to one school. So why does it matter what the guy down the street has offer wise when that has nothing to do with where your journey is going to take you? It means nothing at all. You have 20 offers and you have one. Both of you guys are hopefully going to commit to just one school anyway. So that other 19 offers actually doesn't have any value in terms of, it may help NIL wise, negotiation, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you're going to be at one school.
Well, isn't
and
that the
Gavin,
goal? Isn't that the goal? The goal is to
yes.
find the one place for you. That's all that matters. The one place.
Correct. And that's, Gavin, to your point, I think generally, particularly with the transfer portal now, you're going to end up there anyway. And for some kids, that means you're going to end up just going to go to school. If we're being completely honest, that is okay. That's how it ends for some kids. Some kids go to a higher level because maybe they played really well at the right time. And now, after a year, they got to go transfer down to the level they were supposed to be. But with the transfer portal, you're going to end up kind of where you're supposed to be for the most part anyway. So I think that is a really key point that you mentioned on that.
Well, it's a performance-based business, right? If you go, great, you got to a school and you're not good enough to play, you're going to move down. If you're really good, you might move up. I mean, that's life. Isn't life about performance?
Supposed to be, but I think that's part of the, and we'll get to this later. I don't want to jump topics too quick, but I think sometimes kids are seeking, oh, I want to go to a high major. Are you okay sitting on the bench? Or do you want to go somewhere where
It's
you're
a
actually
great
going to
counter.
win?
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that stuff.
Yeah. So, but before we get to that, 2027. So this is, I guess, most relevant because that's the class that most college coaches are calling. I'm sure you guys are talking about right now. So, what do you guys think from an advice standpoint that you would have for them in terms of recruiting in general? And then what do you think they can do next weekend, the following weekend to kind of separate themselves?
So the first thing we tell our kids, I would tell anyone, you should reach out to schools that you're interested in, and you should send your summer schedules. You're supposed to send your high school schedule, and you send your AAU schedule to let programs know where you're at, right? Hopefully, you're in a program like ours and Gavin's that are sending out rosters and blasting and stuff and doing social media and pick up the phones to get people there. And then when you're in these events, I know this is hard because everyone's playing for a scholarship or playing to go to college. You still need to play winning basketball. I hear this more now than ever because there's so little high school spots. There's the elite kids that they want, and then the next set of kids, who's making winning plays for us to win? Who is going to be easy to coach? Who do we not have to worry about effort, toughness, right? These things have come in, which is interesting. They've come in more than ever because so many kids, there are so many kids also who go to college who are good players but didn't love the game and just don't get better. Schools are asking me constantly, and this is every level, Division 1, Division 3. Does he love the game? What kind of teammate he is? How does he act when things are bad? How tough is he? Does he communicate? Like I would tell any kid, man, when you're playing for these next 3 weeks, be all about your team. If you're about your team, good things will happen. That's just how I coach and approach it, and it's worked for us.
Yeah, and I wouldn't disagree with any of that stuff. I sat at Edwardsville with the college coaches at the live event down there last weekend, and it was amazing. We talked about it at our practice on Wednesday, how little I heard about the wow plays that happen. Somebody has a big dunk, everybody's like, "Oh, dang!" Like the typical part, but that's where it ended. But then a kid buries a kick out three, and he dives for a loose ball, and then he's clapping and high fiving a teammate, and they're like, "Man, I love that kid's energy." And I'm like, dude, he said more in that sentence
Yep.
than he did in the like for the dunk that happened 2 plays before that. And we talked with our guys, the simple stuff means more than the wow. The wow is the flash in the pan, and it only happens so often. If you can consistently make the right play or make a winning play, it adds value to their thought process over and over and over again. Hey, I kicked ahead at the right time. Hey, I got into the paint, drew two, and I hit the guy in the corner. The guy that's in the corner, he might not be able to shoot a lick, but at college, that guy is going to be able to shoot. Like those right plays
Yep.
matter. And then Reed, just to your point on 27s, Mike didn't cover this, but like people don't understand that nobody really knows how this recruiting class is going to be affected by it. It is the first class that has it, and I'm telling you, we're not done hearing that people might get a year back.
I know.
There's a million people trying to sue him on it, and let's be real about this: the NCAA hasn't won very many of these cases.
No, they have not.
So we have told our guys, you do not have time to think. You really have to like, hey, you get some offers, you better start processing that stuff like immediately, so it kind of saves you from being left out because all high school guys, no matter how good they are, if these seniors that graduated in May get a year back, you guys don't have a spot. I don't
No.
care how good you are.
Well,
No.
I like to add a couple of things. First, I like to add when you talk about winning plays. I actually, when I went from Wisconsin back Illinois to Wisconsin back to Illinois, and it was funny you said that. One kid hit three threes in a row in Wisconsin. This kid, I was sitting with all the college coaches, and then the next play he caught it, He made a shot fake, took one dribble. He could have shot it, but he made the perfect decision, went left to his teammate who had a shot. And this was a kid who had scholarships, passed to a kid who didn't have a scholarship. And three college goes, wow, look, he makes the right choice. That's unbelievable. He could have shot that because he hit three in a row and didn't force that shot. So I think that goes back to what Gavin was saying. Make good choices constantly, and that will open eyes. Um, this is tough for high school kids to hear this. There's really good players everywhere, and there's too many of them, especially with these rule changes that could happen. So I don't think it's just a Division One problem. It's a Division Three, Division Two, NEI. There's going to be limited spots, and you need to not have one good game. You need to consistently be a good player for the next 15 days to have a chance. And we are advising our kids, for the next 15 days, all noise is blocked out. You play your ass off your team and make good choices, winning plays. But then as soon as it ends, just like we did last year, we'll know which schools are really interested in you, and you're going to go immediately on the road, see them. If you like it, take it and be done. Because if you don't have something done by the fall, you're in big trouble. You're not going to get spots. It's going to be very tough, especially for Division One. It's going to be almost impossible. You're not committed by October, unless you're a superstar player. That stuff's done with. I mean, think about the clock. Think about the clock. It used to be, commit early, great. If you don't play in the season, we would talk about Christmas is the next time the coaches come on. There'll be some offers in Christmas. That's gone. And then, there's going to be late offers March. Nope, that's gone. Now the late offers are only, we'll wait until the live period, tell that senior to play in the live period in May. And then there's some offers for a couple spots that we might need to fill a kid. That's 2 years ago. We weren't talking like this.
Yeah, no, it's done. I think it's the late commits. I mean, even some of the seniors playing spring AU, you almost need to just decide you're going to go prep at this point. Unless you're ready to go to a JUCO, unless you're ready to maybe wait it out, go to NAIA D3. Like those kids that are saying, I'm just going to wait until the next time college coaches see me. You guys were at the live events in May. Coaches weren't really even out at those either, relatively speaking. I mean, they were out at a
I
decent
mean,
number, but it
they were
wasn't,
out. They were out, but they would tell you this: we don't know our freaking roster yet. How do we know
no
what to?
idea.
I'm just writing down names. That was the biggest thing. And I talked to. I mean, that's all I do is talk to schools. That's the biggest thing I got. We're writing down names. Oh yeah, he's good. I like him. I don't know what we need. Who knows what we need?
Right. You can't because now you got internationals, you got JUCOs, you got D3, D2, and then again we haven't even talked about the 5 and 5 yet, but that hasn't even hit D2 and D3 yet. But I'm gonna
No.
imagine at some point it's going to. So you
I
don't
would
have
tell you. I know we are giving advice to parents and players. The finish on the advice thing is like, listen, play as hard as you can with your team. Play the right way. When you're tired, get yourself out. Don't show bad plays. It's better to be consistent with good plays. And block out the noise. Like even with like we tell our kids, we love our parents, you love them, but this time is now concentrating on what we're doing to play good basketball. The kids don't need to hear you should have done this. Like I would tell any parent, like, don't coach them now. Don't even talk to them. Just support them. Like, I'm proud of you, son. Way to battle. Like, keep it simple. Everything should simplify so the kid can concentrate on his job, which is help his team win. And if he helps his team win, that means he's making winning plays, and now he's a college prospect. That's the advice that we give to parents.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I mean that's the word of the day that both of you guys brought up is simplicity. Just nobody has time to try to figure out whether you're a good player or not, and sometimes just making the simple read is all that is. Because to
I
be
will.
honest with you, yeah, go
This
ahead.
is important about the parents, so they know. If the coaches are looking for every reason to cross the kid off, so how the kid carries himself can get him crossed off. How a parent carries himself will get a kid crossed off. If a parent is being loud and obnoxious and a coach sees it, I don't want to deal with that. He's out. Like we have such a small window to have a chance to play college sports. So why would you jeopardize it? Again, be positive, be supportive. Don't lose your mind. Don't go after refs. Don't go after AU coaches. Don't make scenes. Don't make it harder. Let's keep it all simple and positive together. Let the kids play great basketball so we can give them a chance.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that, we could probably add to that, and it seems so simple to talk about, is true effort. Like there's there's what they think is playing hard, and then there is actually playing hard. You don't need to be on the court for 30 minutes of the game to get a scholarship. You need to give them 10 minutes of hell to get a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that is such an underrated aspect of the kids that just play balls to the wall as hard as they can, both possess, both ends of the floor, and are doing those right things, of just how much they stand out because most guys can't do that long enough.
I agree.
And
Well,
they
I
don't
think
want
it's
to.
too hard
Right.
if you and here's the thing, you can't expect someone to play 100%, 1,000 every minute of a game. Like you got to come out, get some water, recharge your battery, get back. We have a kid, our one kid who has double digit offers. He's really freaking good. You know, he's learned what he's really good about doing. Coach, I need a break because we told him like I can't be the one telling you you're tired. You got to tell me so I don't have you have bad moments to give anyone a question not to offer you. And the kid learned
Right.
it. Like, I got it, coach. So now he tells us, get me out now. I need my break right now. I need a longer break. Like that's part of being a good player. That's what I would tell also we tell all of our kids like be honest with us so we can help you. Trying to play when you're tired is not going to help us.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I agree. Yeah, because I know we had one big we had a few years ago. He played so hard in the live events, and we would play back to backs. By the time we got to that second game, you would have thought he just played 4 games because like there was just no off switch at all. So I think
Right.
sometimes kids think, oh, I just need to be on the court so they can see me. And I think we'll talk about parents more. I think parents think that a lot too. They're like, well, if my kid's not getting 20, 25 minutes in this AAU game, they're not going to get seen. No, exactly what Gavin said. If you can be a dog in that, let's say you have a 6 minute stretch. If you can be a dog in that 6 minute stretch, you may get a look that you wouldn't have gotten if you just did 30 minutes of you getting cardio, which is what some kids end up doing.
Exactly. I would say this. It's that you say that you don't need to start. You don't need to be the leading scorer. You need to make an impression. And what Gavin started with, and what you're talking, Gavin started with about making winning plays, and now you're starting about playing hard as hell and not be half-assed. Make an impression, and you can't have one really good play and three bad plays. One, you're playing really hard. No, you're just coasting. Like that's not a good impression. That's not going to work. You're going to lose any chance to play college.
Yeah. And like you said, a lot of people are looking for reasons not to take you. Like if you have a shaky motor, you're out. Bad body language, you're out. You can't guard anybody, you're out. Right? If you
Take back,
have,
become selfish and shoot every time. You're out.
yes, right. We don't have time
I
for
want to
that.
prove I can shoot a three, but I'm not taking you to be a 3 point shooter. I'm taking you because you're a great defender, or you're a great facilitator, or you're a great rebounder. Like whatever you're really good at during the live period, lean into the good. Lean into simple, like Gavin said, and lean into what you're good at because that's what will get to people's eye. Not that all of a sudden you're going to make a three now when you usually don't shoot threes. Like that's a bad time to start trying to take threes.
Terrible. The live events in particular are not the time to experiment. Do not try to experiment in front of college coaches,
I
please
don't think
don't.
it's fair. It's like you're trying to
I don't
prove
get
something.
it.
It's not a time to prove something. Like whatever you're really good at, that's what you should lean into.
Like we know who's shooters, right? You got, for example, you guys talk to college coaches all the time. When you guys have college coaches call you, right? They probably already know which kids can shoot it fairly well, right? Like it's not a mystery which kids need to work on that and which kids that's kind of their thing. I don't know why sometimes kids feel like they need to go out and build a whole new scouting report when they play in the live.
Well, it's hard because I always feel bad for the parents and the kids who say, "Well, he can shoot." I'm like, shooters are real shooters. We have seen what a real shooter is. Like
Mhm.
that's a whole different level. A real can he make a shot? Sure. Is he a real shooter? A real shooter doesn't go 2 for 10, 11, or 12. Doesn't happen that way. Like so. Again, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Do what you do
Right.
well. Play good basketball, man. Just play good basketball. Play for your teammates, the guys you're with. I would say this also, like appreciate how hard your coaches are working. You have all these programs, all the AU programs, all these coaches are giving up time, personal time to do this. It's not easy. Like they're giving up personal time. They care. Like whatever program is, you can say what you want. They got to do it because they're trying to help or they love basketball. So appreciate them. Don't try and critique every little thing or blame them when the kids play bad or the team plays bad or your kid play. Like it all works together.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's a great segue to the next topic, which is, we've touched on a little bit, but for parents in general, because there's a lot of voices that come in now, particularly with social media, it's tough for a parent to figure stuff out. And actually, to be honest with you guys, that was the biggest feedback from the first podcast we had is a number of parents that were so appreciative to just get like a condensed to the point version of kind of what to expect. But when parents are looking to gain information on the recruiting process, where do you guys think they should go, and how do they determine what is, I don't want to say valid, right? Because there's different angles that people could take, but what do you guys think is kind of the best way for them to go through that process, and who can they go to?
I mean, what? Be more specific. Are you talking about who they could talk to personally, or is there websites to go to, or what are you asking?
I think more so from the standpoint of like, hey, AU coaches, how do I determine which of them actually know what they're talking about and which don't, right? Because I think when everyone's getting sold, every AU program in the history of AU has said, you come here, we're going to get you these offers, right? And then there's trainers, you got high school coaches. How do you think they go through vetting what they need to believe or not? Because that's
Well,
where I think parents get confused.
I think you have to ask specific questions. I think you have to look at their history. You have to look at the real players that actually played for him. Like if you really want to do it right, I think you sit down with the coach and ask them specifics. Ask them to show them your phone. Look at my phone. Look at my calls. Look at all the people on my list. Look at all the emails. Look at all the roster stuff. Look at all the time that we spend doing all the stuff for all of our kids. Like Gavin's posting videos and pictures. He's sending out rosters and schedules. Are you doing all this? Like some programs just started trying to do it because they feel the pressure because other programs are doing a lot of that. And then history, like call my former players, call Gavin's former players, the Division One, the Division Three, the JUCO. Call them, ask them what did coach do for you? How was it? And if someone tells you the program is good that went through it, then if you commit to the program, commit to the long play, commit to it, stay with it, fight with the program to be successful. And if you're in the right program, and I can speak for Gavin's program, I can speak for my program, you're gonna win because whether it's Division One or Division Three, or you want to be a college coach, you're a manager, or something else in life, those connections are lifelong. So if someone told you it's a good program, then after you've done your research, then commit to it and let them do what they do.
For sure. I agree with that 100%. I think the long play, people need to get back to that a little bit more. Everybody transfer portal. Transfer, season is always open in in the AAU world, but I
In every
think
world, whoa,
yeah,
every world now. It's unfortunate. It's
right.
trickled down
It happens on
from
my
the
job
NBA.
too.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard. It's listen. I feel bad for everyone because the best thing about sports, and again, I know I'm the old dog here, but the reason I was in it, and I know why Gavin was he played and got to play with the guys he got to play with, the bonds. First of all, you
Hmm.
get with people and learning how to fight battles together and sweat together and put time in. You know, we're losing all that because it started in the NBA, guys just jump ship whenever they can, and now it happens into college, and now it's into high school, and it's into AAU. Like everyone just jumps ship constantly, and I don't know personally. I don't think I get it. You got to find a good situation for you, so I understand that. But man, I think we're missing something. I think we're missing the great stuff about team and fighting through adversity.
Hmm. And I think there's too much movement in like situations. Hey, you're gonna leave a good situation for a good situation. Well, what'd you leave for? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people have a good reason to leave. I think they just want to change, and then the change ends up being the exact same thing. Like, hey, if some of Mike's guy came and played for us, and some of our guys went and played for Mike, I don't think the styles might be a little different of how we do things or whatever, but the recruitment is going to happen in both programs because we both work at it. We both want our guys to succeed. We're both going to put them in opportunities to be seen by the right people in order to do that. So I think people get caught up a little bit, and people, I know the internet's going to go crazy when they see this, but like we're not a shoot team. I don't think, but in terms of what we do in producing guys, we're up there with everybody.
right.
Okay. But it's because like what Mike said earlier, we bust our tail for our guys.
Yep.
There's no way around that. Yes, we have talented players, but we're making phone calls. We're sending out info. I'm making sure that they stay on a list or in somebody's mind, in the forefront. And I don't know how you can convey that to parents all the time. But like Mike said, you got to do the history. How many people have gone out of the program? Talk to those people. How many people come out, year after year after year, hey, we had 47 college basketball players this year. 47. Like, and it's just like we still have people being like, well, who have you produced? I don't know. We had 47 guys
Yeah.
and girls that went on to play college basketball this year. That's a lot,
I think the most
especially down
important thing
here.
is, yeah, I think the most important thing is what you just said. Yeah, look, it's like I listened to all the conversations of, oh, you should play on this circuit or that circuit. There's a lot of good circuits. There's a lot of good basketball. There's a million good players everywhere. At every place, there's someone who can play. I think the teams are the most important. A program with history and the person you're with that has the connections. Like we're pretty well known we're the academic place, right? So if you're an academic kid, you're going to gravitate to us. It makes sense, right? Because that's kind of like a big wheelhouse for us. Pick whatever fits best for you, what you're trying to be in your goal, and the program is working for you. I've heard people say, "Oh, if you're not in because we're UAA, UA Rise, and UA Grind," but I go to every tournament. Like I go to Recruit Look, I go to Maine Hoops, I go to everyone's event because I believe in competition first of all, and there's players everywhere. But I heard someone say, "Oh, if you're not in the top division of the UAA, why are you playing in the UA Rise?" I'm like, my UA Rise team had 40 coaches in Ohio at their first game. 40. Now, is it because they're UA Rise? Well, we've been on the rise, which is nice. It's because we're fundamentally you. It's a guy named Mike Weinstein who's calling every day. It's the history of kids like these kids constantly that end up being good college players, the kind of kids you want. That's why these coaches are going to show up. And oh, by the way, I'm reminding the hell out of them that, just like Gavin is, right? I got my history, but I don't sit on it. I got to call. I got to push. I got to email. I got to text. I got to hire social media guys. Like we're hustling constantly because I try and explain this to the younger generation. Like telling you one time, or everyone says, "Oh, I told them once." It doesn't work that way. You have to constantly keep messaging over and over and over,
Mhm.
and hustling over and over and over, and producing over and over and over. Like when a player says, "I can't. I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting anything." Okay, so you to quit? No, keep producing. So they told Joey Brunson he couldn't be a good player. I don't know. 55th pick, right? 55th pick.
Yeah.
And that dude lives on, okay, I'm going to go back to work. So if it's good enough for Jalen Brunson, I would think it would be good enough for every kid in the world.
Yeah. And I think you guys are kind of right. It really is just a matter of, I feel like kids and parents, and this whole, it's a generational thing as well. Saying that as someone who's probably in the generation. I think a lot of kids now want to do things that are immediately going to give them attention. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes when they're going from program to program, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've seen kids change programs or change schools, and half the time I think part of the influence of it is so they can post a graphic of their transfer or their change teams.
Yeah. I saw a
No.
kid just now post that he switched to another team. It's like his fifth team. He's a nice kid. It's like, is that what it is? Is that what listen, that's the other college coaches are asking me a lot of. I'm sure Gavin gets this. Do they really love the game or they just want what's to be because it's cool to be in the game?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
cool to post and cool to have gear and cool you said you went somewhere, or do you really want to be a freaking player?
Right. Because it's work, as you guys, and I think that's part of why you guys have benefited as programs. I do feel like if you ask a kid who went JUCO from your guys' program or D3, or you ask a kid that went Division 1, they're still going to feel like you actually gave them the same level of assistance. And I think that's not necessarily true for all programs. And to me, that's kind of where I personally judge programs is, are you helping everybody? Or you're just helping the two or three kids that you're going to be able to put on all your posters. And I
I
think you guys are
love
all over getting it to everybody.
I really appreciate it because I love helping kids. Like I said, whether they're D1 or D3, whether they want to be a manager or I can help them in other things in life. And I'll say this: one of our top players, the mom called me the other day, and this kid's got scholarships and this and that. She called to tell me thank you. My son was talking about you all the time. What you do? I go, what do you mean? She goes, she sees you. You talk to everyone. You talk to every kid. You hug every guy. You give him some crap. You give him encouragement. You talk to every coach. Like my son's like, wow, it's impressive. He cares about everyone. I go, well, yeah, thank you. I do care about everyone, just like Gavin cares about everyone in this program. Like we're using basketball to better you. At least that's how I look at it. I know Gavin looks at it, like better you as a person, as a player, as an adult to be, like giving you tools that will help you be successful. I'm
For,
just as
for
proud of any kid. I don't care if they're, I've had high majors, I've had low majors, I've had any I's. I mean, whatever works. Doesn't matter to me. I'm happy.
Right. And I think that goes a long way. I've had some pretty, powerful text messages and emails from parents not even in our program.
Yep.
Chicago, like I've got two emails from Chicago dads the last 2 years. Kids have never played with us, never played in anything that we've done, just played in the same tournaments or been in the same, exposure things that we've been around. And basically what it says is like, hey, from afar, I appreciate what you do for all your parents or for all your players, being supportive and being active, not just while they're in high school, but afterwards. And we just don't get a lot of that up here in the city, and I'm not knocking anybody up there, but like that's
Well, it's
somebody
nice to
that
be
has
it's nice to be recognized by people. Like
you're right.
nationally, when they see MidPro, when they see fundamental U, we have a great reputation, both of us nationally, that we care. Your own coach and parent of one of your players came up to me when we were at Supreme Courts of Spring and said all those
Yeah.
nice things to me. Like good people recognize other good people, and that's awesome, right? That's the good stuff. That's what you want. But you also, I wanted to say this earlier. It's so important that today's players understand that there was players before them in Gavin's program and my program and these other programs that open doors for you. And then how you carry yourself will keep doors open for the next group behind you. Like I'm trying to explain, I'm noticing a little bit this year that the younger generation don't, I'm a little worried about it. I see like people have worked very hard to give you these opportunities. Now you have a chance to get these opportunities and work really hard so someone behind you gets pay it forward, right? And so I just want to keep hearing that message to everyone, like, man, it all works together. Just the long play, the big picture of life, the community that you're in. Gavin and I talked about this when we had dinner the other day. It gives us so much basketball. We've been lucky. Ours is basketball. It could be volleyball. It could be science, whatever it is. If you do those things and act that way and believe that way, I'm telling you, you will have a long, happy life in a lot of things. I don't know how I can't pull out every point, but Gavin and I talk about like it's amazing when we laugh about different things. Um, we would have those moments if we just half-assed it or didn't feel like doing it today, or maybe I'll go, maybe I won't go. I'm gonna take a break. Like you miss out.
Yeah, I think you have to be able to set that example. I think what you guys do from the top is set that because, like you said, the goal should be, all right, coaches are going to show this is conduct, right? Then your older guys show that. Then you got your 15 U's, 13 U's, whoever that is, all seeing this is how you act in these scenarios. So when those times come where you need to, talk to a college coach, it's comfortable. But even more so important than that, I think is, okay, now when I go out into the professional world, I know how to be part of a team. I know how to push through adversity. I know how to be somebody who people actually like to work with, right? And it's not a pain and they don't feel like I'm always going to be ready to leave. It seems like I would like if there was more, I guess, kids and parents today who I guess from a finance analogy are more long-term investors instead of a bunch of day traders. I feel like that's what I see every
Yeah,
day.
that's a good
Like I'm
point.
trying to get in and out of things. I'm trying to find the next big thing. Sometimes just sitting in the space, even if you don't like it, and I think you guys probably have plenty of examples, right? Maybe you don't play a lot, right? Maybe you're the eighth man on your AAU team. That doesn't mean it's not the right program, right? You may have to actually just work a little bit harder for you to get what you're actually supposed to, right? You feel like you're supposed to realize down the line. I think that's what sometimes kids struggle with.
That's my favorite part of sports, at least why I'm in this, is because, I can only talk about my personal stuff and the kids I'm lucky enough to be around. And my brightest stars are about kids that were the seventh, eighth man who thought about quitting, who didn't quit and got a chance to do something special. I do think this is an important topic about finishing your commitment and where your feet are, do an amazing job. It's not going to be easy. Um, I don't like what's going on that it's so easy just to quit things because the grass is greener or you want to change something or you don't want to take on adversity or you're scared of competition. Um, I wrote down some of that stuff that are so important, the life lessons of competing. And it worries me that we make it too easy to make an excuse and just go away from it instead of take it on. Um, I say this because I was a very sick kid when I was little. They told my parents to never play sports. Wasn't very good. I always worked at it. I loved it. Got lucky. One person said positive stuff to me, changed my life. I stayed with it. B bomber, got bench junior year, starter, got to play college. All those lessons I had to deal with of adversity constantly and not getting what I wanted, I had to earn it. Um, Helped me my whole life be so lucky that I got to use basketball as my tool to meet a million amazing people, people that I call friends that I love. I mean, I freaking love Gavin. He calls me the GOAT. I've known him since he was a kid. Like that's like I would if I didn't get to do if I didn't get to if I had quit basketball, I wouldn't get to meet you guys and do these things and try and help people. I wouldn't be able to have meals with the parents and talk to them about their kids, or one of our kids got an NBA job and he wanted to call and talk to me about the offer. And like those are amazing things I've got to have because I didn't quit. All right. So I hope I can help parents in this.
Well, and let me add to that, Mike. Like you and me, Reed, same situation with your stuff. You didn't quit. It wasn't easy for us to start these programs.
Right.
You had to build and grind. Hey, MidPro wasn't MidPro or the Irish, whatever I was running before that. Like it didn't start off this big hitter. We had to literally feet on the pavement every single day just to survive because everybody's trying to take everything from us.
Yeah.
And now when we're preaching it, hey, we've actually went through it not only in our playing careers and life, but like with this as well. We understand what it takes. And I that is the hardest thing sometimes with parents is we've already been through the struggle that you think you're going through with this. We understand it way more than you ever will know
Yes.
because we do it year after year after year. There is always a new parent. There's not very many new us's. If that
Well, it's like
makes
that. We
sense.
could exist, right? Like again, goes
Right.
back to where I always tell where your feet are, do the best job. You and I, where our feet are, we're always gonna do the best job. We learned that early. That's why we can keep being successful and be around the right people. So I would tell all parents, like, that's the most important lesson. I got lucky. My father taught me that early. Like, you want to do this? Then commit to the work, commit to the time. Don't complain about it. Go do it. I got lucky. So my advice to parents, and again, I have a master's in child psychology. I'm not trying to say I'm smart. I just know this is the best thing for the parent part. Teaching your kids to tackle adversity. It's okay to get knocked down. It's okay to play bad. This is part of the growth. Life is hard. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get screwed over. How do you deal with it? And I think, at least I'm a little worried. I'm worried that the parents are trying to love their kids so much that they're protecting them from some of these battles that they need to embrace. I love the battle. Frick. I love competition. Like I know,
Right.
Gavin knows
And
how.
you're only going to push it off. You're never going to avoid it. It's going to come.
Yep.
You can move and it could be like, okay, we're not going to battle it 15 a year. Well, it's going to come 16 a year. Or hey, you pushed it back 2 years and it's going to come 17 a year. Or hey, it might even hit you in college. Like, but the sooner you deal with that, the better off you are. So like Mike said, don't be afraid of the adversity. It's the best part of making your game better.
Yeah. And life better.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. Like, that's life. Like, you're gonna have bad days with your kids or your wife or your job. Like, we all do every day. We all got stuff going on. Learning how to deal with it, cope with it, organize it, get through it. That I think sports gives you a chance to do that. I do also think it's really important. Like, listen, parents, these are your kids, so you have to do what you think is best for your kid to be successful. But if you're going to go to places, like you're going to go to a good school, you're going to go to a good basketball program or a different sport or whatever, you're going to you got to have some trust in the program that you're doing it with. And if you feel like they're genuine and honest and straight, you should give them the benefit of the doubt instead of getting really mad when that kid has a bad game or doesn't get what he wants. The other thing I think is really important is we talked about early noise. I think there's a lot of good people that are trying really hard to help everyone and be nice to everyone. I think that's great. You have to get real answers to get where you want to go. And that means those answers simply won't be exactly what you want to hear. They're going to be hard answers. And one of the things I pride myself on is I encourage, but I tell people exactly what we're doing and what we're trying to do and where you're at. And you can cry about it or you can work with it. And I think a lot of people, when you think about friends, teammates, maybe classmates, um, trainers, coaches. There's a lot of great trainers who mean well. They mean well for your kid. The coaches mean high school coaches mean well for your kids. Too many people are quick to just say, "Oh, you're okay. It's all right." Like make it easy for you instead of like just say, "Hey, you want to be a player? Go deal with it." Like blocking out soft noise, I think is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm saying it properly or explaining it properly. Um, But if you want to be a player, if that's your thought, then you need to be on your track. And all your friends and the different people in your lives that all love you or are part of your community, they all have different opinions and answers. But only one person's going to make it happen, you. So you have to be on your track to be what you want to be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you guys, that's a perfect point. I think sometimes all the parents, I believe, obviously want the best for their kids. And I think, as you guys know, right? Like it's gotten to the point where I think you phrased it perfectly. They want to protect them to the point where sometimes it overprotects them from the realities of what the world is, which is sometimes, I may go to a job interview and I may not get the job. I don't get to go back the next day with my parents and complain about, why I didn't get that opportunity. And I think it's the same thing with a lot of these kids is they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we navigate being tough on them, but also not damaging their confidence? And as both of you guys mentioned, part of sports is actually you being able to figure out when someone tells you you're not very good, being able to have a response to that that's actually productive to you getting towards your goal. And I think right now when kids get told you're not going to start, I don't think you're a Division I player, which if we talked about in the last one, there's not going to be more than probably 20 of those anyway in a class. I know everyone thinks they're in that 20. When you hear those things, when you go to your trainers and you go to your coaches, are they telling you, okay, do something about that? Or are they just telling you to go somewhere else where they'll tell you what you want to hear? Right. I think that's
Well,
where the
what you want
biggest
to hear is
issue
the
is.
problem, right? And I think most people are nice people. Like, listen, I get it. You feel bad for a kid, so you're gonna try and soften the blow for him. But in reality, softening the blow is not helping the kid become the best he can become in whatever it is.
Right.
Like, you got to tell them, oh, you're not, we'll get better, work at like. And again, I think there's a lot of great people out there that are coaching teams and training kids and high school coaches and parents. And there's a lot of people I think most people are all pretty, really good people and nice people and supportive.
Right. So, right.
And the easy thing to say is, oh, that's okay. And not if you want to be a competitive player, it's not. Not if you want to be competitive in life and successful, it's not just say it's okay. That's not the right answer.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it comes in so many angles, right? Like on the court, right? You not closing out to somebody is not, you guys are part of winning programs. You don't get to do that and be on a winning program, right? Like
Right.
that doesn't work. Even little
Right.
stuff like kids that don't communicate. So I'm sure you guys have had this too. Hey, we have a game or we have a try, whatever it is. Kid says they're going to be there. They don't show up, don't say anything about it, and they don't understand how that then affects their reputation for some people for eternity, right? Like little stuff like that, I think is where there's a divide right now in kind of the expectation and what there actually is.
Well,
Those
accountability.
things.
I think the word is accountability really well though. Like it's okay. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to show up today. It's okay. I'm going to be late. It's okay. No, people are counting on you. You're supposed to be the person you're supposed to be that's reliable, and there's no accountability. Oh, he doesn't want to go. He wants to go to the lake house instead of play basketball this weekend. But you committed to a team.
Correct.
It affects
Right.
everyone else. And I've fought my ass off to get us good events and get kids to college. And those other teams that I talked about have helped you have a chance. And now not only you're not showing up for the people you're supposed to show up for, which first is yourself and then your teammates, but now you could be closing doors for the people behind you because this group is not going to perform because you're not fully committed. So now the history of all these kids that we've had performing, you can stop that. Do you want to be the guy who helps keep it going, or do you want to be the guy who sends it in the wrong way?
Right. And, like I was just kind of thinking about this as you guys were talking, and you guys can maybe give a insight on how you feel about it, but I would put some of the ownership on uh us programs, in the state, um, on some of it too, in terms of it's been a while. I mean, me, Mike, Brim, we're trying to bring it back, in the sense of like Dude, Illinois teams didn't play Illinois teams at the
Craziness.
top for a long time. And it was because of ego and not wanting to lose and blah 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 blah. But when AAU was at its peak in Illinois, everybody was playing everybody all the time because it was super competitive, like, and then you had bragging rights for a week and then you see them the next week and you could get them back. And, I think I'm not saying that we started it for the players, but like we have to take some ownership in it too. But, hey, it's been what is this, year 4 or 5 of us doing it with Brim and the attack guys and trying to invite the rest of the state to honestly come to these things and just say, hey man, come compete. We don't really need it for bragging rights. We're just trying to get good games before we all go in different directions.
It's amazing that we can't have the best teams in the state play. It's amazing to me. I don't get it. I the one year that I upset Mean Streets when they were the number one team in the country, they said, "Can you play us again?" Everyone's like, "Why would you play them again? You beat them." I'm like, "Why would I not?" It's another chance to set the. I mean, yeah, they're better than us, and they beat us the next time, pretty good. But why would I not want to compete? Like that's why I played basketball. That's why I coach basketball. I wanted to compete.
The
So I would
sport,
agree
yeah.
with you. It is frustrating. The adults have to be adults, right? I guess this is kind of the conversation. A lot of this is the kids are the kids. We need the adults to help us. We need the parents to help the kids understand competition and being excited about it and dealing with adversity. And as the adults, we got to be willing to want to put the kids in those situations. Don't try and protect everything. Like, let's go. This is life. Earn it. I always say, earn, not given, right? Earn it.
Mhm.
That's on this thing. Earn your respect. Earn it.
Yeah.
You're not just given stuff. That's probably the other problem we have a little bit is the entitlement of the world is a little frustrating.
Yeah, no, I think that's the biggest thing. And I think when part of that, I think with the adults in the room, because again, I think kids will follow the direction that is given from everybody involved, right? From coaches, from the parents, even in some cases from older siblings, right? Like I think there's with the AAU discussion, inherently because social media is what it is, I think there is a level of people maybe not wanting their egos to get hit in terms of, okay, if I lost this game, it makes it look like we're not as good of a program. When the reality is, as you guys know, you take it 10 years ago, your goal is to play the best teams anyway. And if you can play the best teams and not have to go drive 5 hours to play them, I would probably prefer that versus having to,
I,
go out to the East Coast to have
I
to play
will
somebody.
I will tell Gavin the two things that I said to Gavin. I would say this to Gavin. I said, one, I want to play you. And if you beat me or I beat you, we're still going to go get steaks. Doesn't really matter, right?
Mhm.
And I unfortunately uh, have seen programs that there's certain programs that will play like listen, us and YNR and Mean Streets. We have no problem playing anyone. Like we'll play anyone. Like I don't worry. But there's been programs that were dying to play everyone and complained about playing everyone, and now that they got good, they won't play everyone. That to me is disappointing. Like you begged to play me to get chances to play me as you built your programs, which is great. You've got good programs, so then why are we hiding from competition? Like I don't. You bitched about other people hiding, and now, unfortunately, it is what it is. Now I get it. Everyone's got to do what's best for their program. That's their opinion. That's what they want to do, and they're very good programs. I just would love to play anyone. I'm like, yeah, let's freaking play.
Yeah, no, I would love an old school, like, can we just get the top, 16 teams in the state and just
Be
play
awesome.
for a weekend?
It'd be
That would be
awesome.
ideal.
It would shut wherever it is down
Right.
because people would take it. You wanted, I'd never scout for games. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have never scouted an AAU team to be like, this is what they run. I'm going to try to take it away. I would do it that weekend. I
Oh,
would
for sure.
It
every
would be the
single
best thing for our
program,
state. It would be a celebration for our
every
state.
single program of those 16 teams would do homework because all the directors want bragging rights, all of
Yes,
them.
exactly.
And we
You
used to
you
do
know
that, by the way. We used to do that.
right. And but like at the same time, like Mike said, the majority of us would be like pissed after the game and be like, "Hey, we're going to dinner tonight.
Still going
Let's
out.
let's go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah, let's all go out." Like
Right.
I'm
it's
not getting a ring for how many wins I have in AAU. Like, come
right,
on.
right.
Like,
You want the guys to put on a show. Put on a show.
I
Like
think it would be would help our state if we gave those kind of tournaments back. Like in the old days, why I think why the competition got so strong here was because if you didn't win, you were done. You had to win to get to the next round,
Yep, it's real
Yeah.
tournament.
right? And it was a big talk when we had the AAU qualifier or the
Yeah.
whatever. So, I was like the first one to kind of start showcase games out for the live period because I didn't want to do a bracket. But during non-live events, brackets, and even the live back in Orlando back in the days,
Hmm.
holy cow, man, the atmosphere, the playoff basketball, like that stuff is awesome. Like, and our kids aren't experiencing that really.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, Reed, I guess Mike, you were there too, but last year, our Mean Streets game, the first game of the year, second game of the year at Supreme Courts, dude, there was like six people deep around the court.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But like they're yelling at us coaches because there's people parked on the grass
Yeah, that was
out in the
wild.
on the parking lot. But like that's how it used to be all the time when the
Yeah.
top teams matched up.
And
It
everyone
it
came
was
to watch.
everybody
I
came
want
to
a piece of
watch.
the action. I
Yes,
want to be in
yeah,
the next tournament to get a chance to earn my way up.
right, right. Yeah, and I think we miss that a little bit in the state right now. Is there's too many people that I know some duck it, but like most of us would do it.
I
Most
think
of us would do it.
most of the state, if we did something, would play. The problem is you have to get someone. People say, "Oh, why don't you do it, Mike?" I'm like, the
A
problem
lot of
is
work.
there's egos. Well, it's not the work; it's still the egos to get. Someone needs to name Reed needs to put together an event because he's not biased. He's wide open and open to all programs,
That is true.
and that's really what we need. We need someone who's not has a team to run this kind of event, which would be awesome. So, Reed, you have a new job and a new business, and we'll sign up.
Get on the I'll add that to the list of activities. Because honestly, I do feel like all of this stuff is lumped together because when you look at even kids going to prep school, right? Like not that if we had a big AU event that would change things, but I just think the feel of Illinois basketball being what it is, Mike, you would probably know better than anybody else from the Joy of the Game stuff. Like it used to be super teams all over the place for Illinois. Like you're gonna have to play a team that's gonna have multiple scholarship guys every single week.
We had 12 to 20 teams in our own state that had Division I players back then. There were, every
Right.
game was a mother fricker. I mean,
Right.
I remember the old AU days, enjoy the game, and you're like, oh my god, I got to play. Freaking Old Gold's got some dudes, and the Demons got some dudes, and Terry Head's got some dudes. And the Irish has a couple dudes. Like, yeah, it was great, and I do think it raised the level of play. What did we average back then? 45, 50 Division I players a year.
No, it
Oh, it was
had to
way
be
more.
everybody
Yeah,
that.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I think the North Shore one year, I think we had like 30 Division I players just in the North Shore. Like, I think that's when Illinois took off, is when AU took off early, and I had just happened to be one of the first guys who brought everyone into one place to play. And I still think those were the heydays. I love those days of sense of competition.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is I think that's kind of what, to me, as someone who watches games, like you said, completely unbiased because I don't really have an AAU team or anything. I think when I watch, sometimes it doesn't seem like kids respect the fact that there's an outcome of the game. Like even with the showcase game setup, right? Like you have a setup
The problem.
now where if I lose the first game, I'm getting three games and I already know who those other three teams are. You don't have to deal with the, oh, I'm 0 and 4, and that means that I had to play a worse team every game to get down there, or I'm playing for a championship. We just
Well,
lost
we
the
used to
level
laugh
of
there, right? You want to get to the
competition.
main facility, you got to win to keep stay at the main facility. You lose, you go to the back of the gyms. Like
Right. I
that
feel
was
like
real.
that.
That was real.
Yeah, that forced pride back in the day. If you were not going to be competitive, then you were going to have to go play the 8 a.m. game in the back gym that nobody wanted to play in. And I feel like now that's been lost. And it's not just an AU thing. It's not just a high school thing. It's not a train. I feel like it's a whole ecosystem right now of Illinois high school basketball that I feel like probably needs to get revamped at some point.
I would love you to come up with the idea how to get this thing turned in a little bit different of a direction. It would be great for the kids and for everyone if we got more competitive and pushed the envelope, not just in sports, but in the classroom, at your job, at your family. Like, get up, make your bed, do your own laundry, help out your family, respond to your parents, get to school, be respectful to every teacher, put in the time, get your grades. Sports, work your butt off, turn every stone to be the best you can be, put your team first. Like, I think all those things tie together.
100%. I think To me, competition and character are the two things that you can take anywhere you go. Doesn't matter work, school, like you said, it doesn't really matter. But I think right now we're not forcing the competition, and then the character piece I think is not. I'm not gonna say it's not taught because obviously it is with a lot of households, but I feel like it's not emphasized enough. And I think media is part of the issue, to be honest with you. I think a lot of times you guys talked about earlier with the college coaches, right? You go on social media, you would think the live events, the only kids that played well, are the ones that had 4 or 5 big dunks. When the reality is, college coaches are not even. You're 6'6" and you can tomahawk. Congratulations, that's impressive. Like, how is that going to help me win a game in college as a coach, right? And I think media-wise, we've kind of, I would not a poor job, but I think it's kind of shifted the focus away from good basketball to just anything that can get clicks. And I think it's been that way with a lot of varieties of media on basketball.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think, kind of what we've been talking about though is kids don't know how to compete anymore. Guys will play. We all like playing, like when we were
But
going through it.
this ain't the lifetime rec league. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
even for us, everything was a competition. We went to the park. Well, you couldn't get back on the court if you
No, that five
lost.
game wait, I'm going home.
Right,
I'm
right.
going home.
And like these guys now, they just go to open gym, and when they're off, they just wait a second, and then they're back on. And like the competition of actually competing, I think is just different now. There's not the same like you
well,
you
and
were saying like
you're onto something that we should probably talk about, which is the importance of understanding. Like, okay, if you want to be an athlete, yeah, you got to lift and you got to work on your skills and you got to do nutrition and take care of your body. And you also have to play. You got to compete. You don't just take breaks of competition. And I hear a lot sometimes parents ask me, well, maybe we just shouldn't play. We should just train. It doesn't work that way. I know guys that are great in workouts. They look great and they can't play. Like you got to understand how to play. And the only way to develop between the old days they said, and by the way, today's kids are smarter than we ever were. I'll say this. The kids are freaking smart. They're really smart. Like there's no question about how smart kids are. Um, the old days they said your best basketball was usually between 21 and 27. Not because of your body as much, but more about your brain and your development of understanding the game and competing and developing that competitive edge. Now we're prolonging it. The kids don't even get to that part because they're not competing enough. So when a parent asks me that, I tell them, no, you're wrong. It doesn't work that way. You need to play. You need to compete. Like I had two different parents say to me, oh, we're just gonna lift weights. We gotta get stronger for next year. Like I lift 3 days a
Do
week.
both. Do both. Yeah.
I don't understand what you're saying. Like compete. So
Yes.
I think it all works back together. What we're talking about is compete, be committed, um, and again, decide what you want to be. Do you really want to be a player? Then don't be afraid of competing. Don't go
Right.
sit home in a gym and just get shots up. That doesn't help. It helps, but not enough.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect segue into the last topic, which is the 5-and-5 rule. Um, if you
Ooh.
don't want to compete, you're not going to be able to play college basketball anymore. If we're just be completely honest, if you're one of those 50-50, like I don't really want to have to deal with conflict, it's not going to work out very well. But I guess just open-ended, what do you guys think are going to be kind of the biggest impacts for high school kids with this new rule?
Well, the first thing I want to say before we even go into it, because Gavin knows more than a little better than I probably. The first thing is I don't like when people say, oh, if I don't play Division One, I won't play, or oh, I just want to be a Division One player. It is almost impossible to be a Division One player. Like just be the best of whatever you can be. That's the most important thing. Don't say I want to be a Division One player. Say I want to be the best player and be the best person. I think that message is really important. This rule, depending on which way it folds, and I think Gavin probably reads more about it than I do. Um, the spots, every senior. I had a kid over here the other day who was playing high. He got to go from the Ivy League to high major. He was here, and he was like, "Coach, can you believe it? I'm going to get another year after this." I didn't think about it. Like every kid that's a senior next year gets to play again.
Yep.
These seniors are there at every level. And then you throw in what Gavin said, all the guys trying to get back in now. Holy shit. Sorry, didn't mean to swear in your thing. Holy crap. Um,
Mhm.
I'm, I don't know. Will this rule help in 5 years from now? Maybe. But right now, it just really made it hard for high school players.
Yeah, I think it's a gift. The how was ever going to ease into college? I think there was always going to be a hiccup. Like this first year, I think the 27s are going to be hit harder than what people think on it. Just
27 is going
because,
to hurt. 27 is going to get
yeah,
hurt.
Yes.
This is the
yeah,
class that will take the biggest hit. Then it'll be a
yeah,
less of a hit the next year. The next, it'll wind down. Where in 5 years, as you're saying, it could be a good help down the road.
yeah. Well,
But the
and the other,
problem is, the problem which you brought up, Gavin, is the NCAA hasn't won one freaking battle on one freaking thing.
right. Yep. And that's the unknown. And I mean, and it's that we could go over a million topics with the NCAA of like, they're trying to pass controlling NIL numbers now. How's that going to happen?
Not going to.
Let's be honest.
Illinois just paid what would they say today? 1.9 million or almost $2 million in bonuses for coaches,
Yeah.
and they're trying to cap NIL, on campuses.
Yeah.
Good luck with any of that stuff.
I mean,
But
the reality is, unfortunately, this is a really deep topic that you and I think all three of us have talked about. The original plan 10 years ago was that the Power Five schools with the money were going to separate and be like a pro league. And then we have
Mhm.
their college basketball. The problem was the NCAA didn't stay ahead of it. They just kept saying yes to everyone because they didn't want to lose the NCAA tournament, which makes them all their money. And now we have a complete disaster. I don't know how you ever clean this up. I mean, in a perfect world, I think it would be great if the high majors or the schools with the money would just become a semi-pro league, which is great because they make all the TV money. And then we went back to regular college basketball over here. That'll never happen either. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I think one way we were talking about this with a couple buddies and on staff with me, and I think you got to make it a European model where you have buyouts, for players. So Illinois takes, Bradley's guy. They got to buy him out. So now Bradley gets the NIL money back, for the next year for the kid plus the buyout. Now they can go get a better kid,
Yeah.
because you don't the little schools don't get that same guy
Well, but
back most of the
here's
time.
the other problem. Though,
But the other thing I was going to say on that is not only do you have to have that buyout there, you're probably also going to have to do it European wise, where, like Mike was saying, there's leagues to it. There's the Euro League and then the Euro Cup. And, and hey, some of the Euro Cups can go up to the Euro League for a couple years. And
levels.
then yes. And because it's too much. And I think the other thing that would help, because the NIL situation, it's got its own shady parts. The colleges have their own shady parts to it, is at the beginning of the season, and I don't care if it's the first game of the year, every single school needs to drop what they're paying every player.
Absolutely.
Just like the NBA does. All NBA contract, you can see every single NBA contract. You want to know why? Because it sets a market. It
Yeah.
sets a market for
Listen,
the next year in NIL.
I think you're right on. I think levels should be determined. Contracts should be public, and you just like follow the World Soccer League or the Basketball League. Move up, make more money when you move to the top league. I think that would be great because the other problem that's going to happen is we had 30 something colleges close last year. They're thinking another 50 schools will close in the next 3 years at all different levels. 50 schools because they can't make this work. Less kids go to college, so you have less enrollment, and you're spending money only on players. So this is a major picture thing. How do you solve some of this? I think you were right on. I completely agree with the European model. I think you hit the home run on it.
Mhm. But to
Yeah.
go back to the 5-on-5,
Yeah, go back to
the,
five. What do you
the
think?
five
What do
on
you think?
five,
What do you think?
like the 23. I love the rule. I think 23 is a great cap on all that. When we had guys that were 27, 28, we had ex NBA guys coming back down, trying to get back in because the money's so good and all that. It was just a hot
Do
mess of
you think
everything.
though? Okay, so but are they going to have the exceptions for the kids that go on mission or the military? It's going to
Yes. So
Yes, they do.
I think it's pregnancy, military, and then church related,
It's like
religious
BYU
related.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The like missions and stuff like that. They all get an exception, but there is no red shirting of any kind. No medical, no
so that so I just want
no,
to make sure that because you got the latest news. So now medical red shirts and red shirting are gone. We're going to eliminate that and say it's 5 years period.
I would assume that there would probably be I've never read this, so I'm just throwing it out there. The only medical red shirt that would ever be in consideration for one would be like a cancer diagnosis or something that like actually take could take more than a year away from
Yes.
from your playing ability and physical ability, if that makes sense. But a normal ACL, Achilles, all that stuff, sorry about it.
Listen,
There's no more.
I like where you're going because I think simplifying is the best thing. So if we get rid of all redshirting and it's 5 simple years, that's it. The day you go to college, you got 5 years. We're done.
Hmm.
Oh, there's no
Hmm.
like the NEI. There's no continuing clock. Like after, like any, in NEI, the old, because I coached NEI, you could go to college and then leave for 10 years, and you still have whatever. You play 2 years, you have 2 years.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I like where you're going. I hope that's the way they go because I think this will make it really simple. The day you start college, you have 5 years. That's it. And I think that helps with the age in the sense of when people are complaining about prep school or not prep school. Just say the day they start, that's it. They got 5 years.
Hmm.
Right. So they can go to, but you can't do a 19-year-old go into prep school and then be a 20-year-old freshman because you lose a year. I actually
So
like that too.
so here's what's going on with the prep school. So I know, so I deal with some of the prep school stuff. A lot of the prep schools have helped change the rule already because in the East Coast, most kids go to prep school. That has been their whole forte. You could destroy, and I'm not talking about just the basketball prep schools. I'm talking most East Coast schools are like little colleges and need enrolled kids to survive because they're not always like, well, we have up here, we have amazing public schools up here. If you say that you can't have your extra year at prep school, you will destroy the entire NEPSAC divisions of basketball. So, from what I understand, you will be able to at least get that gap year at the prep school, and it won't count against.
As long as you don't turn 20.
Yeah. So
Correct.
like you can do
They
your
just
like
changed
18
that.
to
Thank God,
19 is
because
fine.
originally it was if you graduate, then the NEPSAC got all together and made the right choice. Like, hey, I love gap years. Not forget even sports. I think gap year, like I don't believe in sending kids to prep school early. I like them to go to their high schools and stay if they can and develop with their friends. But I think a gap year, like I wish I had a gap year, just physically, mentally growing up, being on your own, development. I think those gap years are awesome. There's some kids that travel the world during the gap year. They take a special class, in Europe to do something. Like I think that's great. But I do understand. Is it 20? Is that the role we're going with, Gavin? Is it 20?
Yeah, well, that you can't be 20. You can be 19, but you cannot once you're
I
so
think that's great. That's the way it
As soon
should
as
yeah,
you hit
if
19.
yeah, as soon as it's a tricky thing because it's not as soon as you hit 19. It depends on when you turn 19. So like 19 is technically the start of your clock, okay? But like
Right.
for instance, if somebody turns 19 in January and I'm in a gap year, that next year when school starts, I'm still 19.
got.
So you know what I'm saying? If I'm at a prep school when I
Right.
turn 19 and then I go to school the following year, I don't lose a year because I've already 19. I still get it because I'm 19 at the start.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
said it's based on when you enter high school is like the initial when they start determining it, right? So like if you enter at regular time and then you go your 4 years and you're 18, you can take that prep year and then you get your five normal after that.
Right, right,
But
correct.
like these some of these double reclasses, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to be really in trouble because if you
Well,
turn 20,
when the first rule came out, it was a disaster because you would have been telling your senior kid who graduated. Like we have a kid who's going to prep school next year, who's actually age appropriate. He should have been really. Adam Anwar is a good example.
Yeah,
yeah,
he should have been, yeah, younger.
Straight
Yeah.
A student, good player, loves his school, stayed at McHenry, graduated. Age wise, he actually really should be a junior, not a senior.
Yeah.
If the original rule came out, we would have told him you can't graduate, even though he spoke because he was a valedictorian.
Mhm.
We would have said, stop, don't graduate. because you're now screwing your eligibility. So thank God they fixed that. Otherwise, that would have been just horrible to tell kids don't graduate your high school, go to prep school.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah, that would have been an absolute nightmare. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be a good space for some kids to do the prep year. But I think to Gavin's point, we don't need to have 28-year-olds in college anymore. I think that's good to have. Now, with the 27s in particular, because I think this is what a lot of parents are going to end up asking. And Gavin, I guess I'll start with you because I know you're heavily, deeply involved in this. What do you think that's going to do to 27s? And I guess why? Because I know we're going to get tons of follow-ups on like, oh, what does that mean
Yeah.
for my senior?
Yeah, it's hard to say, honestly, of like what it does for the 27 specifically because it's not done yet. Like what we were talking about. We don't know if the injunction that people are, suing the NCAA for extra year that graduated in May of 26, that's the only class that will not get a 5 for 5. Everybody before them got 5 years of college because of the COVID stuff. Everybody after them will get 5 years. So they have a major case. I don't care what anybody says, they
Yeah.
have a major case to make. So if they say, I don't know when the court case is, I'm not following it, but like they say in July that these guys are eligible, end of July or August, you want to know how many people are going to be on campus September 1 that
Okay.
are still seniors or they just graduated?
Yeah.
Like, hey, because they're going to make more money in college than they are for playing overseas, for the majority of them,
For the majority for their real life, that's the most money they're going to
Right.
Oh
make.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And I mean, I don't know that Illinois did it for this example, but I know Illinois has one scholarship wide open. I know other schools that have a scholarship wide open. Well, do they know something that we don't? Or are they holding it off for spring semester, or are they just holding it because the landscape is never ending changing, and it's probably a little bit of all of it, to be
I
honest
would
with.
think Gavin, the NCAA will hold off as long as they can so that they're into the school year to like it behooves them. It would behoove them not to make a ruling until school's already going.
But then you run
The
into the
lawsuit's still
fact
coming.
Yeah,
the
but if you
law,
but a kid
but you're
right
gonna
now there
lose.
is no 5 and 5, right? It hasn't passed yet, right?
No, it
It did. It passed a couple
it
weeks ago.
passed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I would have told them if they're asking me, wait till November and then say, okay, moving forward, it's a 5 and 5 rule because those other kids are gone, they've graduated, they move on in life, and it's too late for them to try and come back now. It's over with.
Right.
That's what they
Right.
should have done.
Right. And so that's why I think like the 27s, it's hard to tell them how much it's going to impact them. But if that case gets dropped and you're not committed, or especially at the scholarship schools, because it's really just Division 1, D2 and D3 haven't touched it yet. It's gonna
Do you think that D2 and 3 will go with this too?
D2 will have to follow
You
suit,
have
in
to.
my
You
opinion.
have to.
I don't necessarily. I mean, what does it hurt D3 if they do? They're not paying anybody anything. They're just
Well,
giving them an extra
I think
year.
you have to keep it the same. I mean, if you're going to do it for Division 1, you probably have to do it. I would
It's
think.
it's going to get messy when you have kids trying to transfer between levels. I think it's just
Right.
better if they can get it consistent.
Yeah, because you imagine
Right.
your kid, I graduated from school Division 3, but I'm really good. But why can't I get my fifth year if I go up to play at
Well, you
You
would get your
do.
5th year if you go
Yeah, you
up,
do.
but
but
all those
you
other
would.
kids are out.
Yes.
Right.
If you stay
Yes.
D3, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Boy,
Technically, right.
this is a mess.
Yeah. But like, I mean, here, like, I just know because we deal with it all the time. But like, Illinois Wesleyan doesn't even have a master's program. So like why would they ever care about a 5th year? Like I mean, obviously it might give people an extra year or semester to actually graduate if they need to, but all the guys that graduate are going to leave because there's nothing for them to
But
get at that
but
point.
that's also what you're bringing up. A lot of Division 1 schools don't have master programs, so they're looking at like, what the hell are we doing? What are we going to do? Like this thing is, oof.
Right.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
so
I actually like a piece of it though, because then if you're, and I had a bunch of, when we, you and I were college run, some of the guys are asking like, oh, are we going to get another year? And some of them are D3 kids. I'm like, yeah, if you transfer up. I like it from the standpoint of even if I'm Illinois Wesleyan, I may be able to convince a kid to actually stay here for 4 years, knowing that that fifth year he can go get paid, wherever he needs to go. So I think depending on what the school is and what the setup is, like I'm thinking about some of these high academics, right? Like,
Yeah, but
hey,
here's the problem. Again, it goes back to what Gavin said. Like, well, why would not Division 3 kids then sue? Because wait a minute, why? Because they're Division 1. Does it make a difference between Division 3? And if you say, well, they're on scholarship, no, kids at Princeton and Harvard and Brown are on scholarship. Like, this is a real.
I think everyone's going to get the fifth year. I think it's just D1 obviously had to prioritize it
Yeah.
because that's where the biggest money is.
Right, right. And that's where the money is. That the other reason
Right.
those guys are made a court case about it,
When
the
are they supposed to
players.
make their next thing? When's the next?
I don't know.
I haven't read when. I
Like,
just know that the first initial day that it got dropped, there was already 50 clients waiting to that dropped on the major case, and there's been players added to it the whole time.
Oh, there's going to
So
be hundreds of players on there for sure.
yeah, yeah. So it will be interesting, but I would just say for the 27 class, your job if you're a scholarship level guy, D1, D2, you have to decide quickly. And I would, Mike said, hey, you got to get your stuff done by October. I would say even before that. It's probably
I mean, we had most of our
honestly,
kids committed in August last year, but
yeah.
you're
Right.
right. Now these kids have more time.
I'm gonna say you if mid-September is late now.
Yeah, right.
And it's sad that it's like that because how people are taking visits with nobody on campus. You don't see campus life. You don't see what the school is really like. But tough tough beans. I
That's
mean,
what we're
that's
in.
just the world. That's what we're in. So, I mean, I know we've already told some of our guys like, hey, you got 2 weeks in July, and then we are like, hey, let's chop it up, get the visits going, and let's decide because we don't want to be caught without one. So
It'll be interesting though for schools that are Division 3 or Ivies that can take as many kids as they want. What will they do? Will they
yeah,
just
and I
will
don't
they
think
take
that they're
30
in. I
kids?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in a rush though. The ones that, necessarily aren't playing with scholarships or anything like that. I think they'll still move exactly like they're moving right now. They can at their own pace, to be honest with you, where everybody else is just gonna fast track it, get old, stay old. And, I think with 5 years, I do think you're gonna see in Illinois or bigger schools take some, I wouldn't say risks, but take some younger guys that like might have major upside just because now I get them for 5 years. So hey, that first year, it's your red shirt, but like I can see what you're gonna become. And then after that I can kind of say, hey, I can get you somewhere else or I love where you're at. Let's keep going down this path where right now I think the last couple of years, in particularly, all the high majors just get as old as you can be and stay as old as you can be. So
Right.
Listen, I'm a big believer. I've told the college division scholarship schools all the time, like you should be taking 2 kids a year to develop. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's how winning programs have guys in their program that are hungry. Like, sell them on, yeah, you're going to be here, you're going to get better, you're going to be ready to step in. And coaches should, I think schools should lean into that and develop their kids. So it's not, oh my God, we have to get a whole new roster every year. We've developed 2 prospects that are about just like baseball, right? Have prospects, have your
mhm.
prospects, have your
Yeah, but
own.
I think the issue though, this goes back to our earlier conversation, is I think at least college coaches I've talked to, because obviously we had a guy redshirt a few years ago. I think the fear is that if you do the developmental thing and then you work really hard to get the guy good and he doesn't play and then he transfers with a brand new body and a brand new skill set, you almost feel like you wasted your investment. I know it doesn't sound great, but I think for a lot of college coaches, they're trying to weigh like, hey, how many of the developmental guys can I get? And then how many of them can I actually keep? Because
Yeah, but
guys
that's
just don't
that's
like
what
to not
but
play.
that's what coaching was, right? This is
Right.
what basketball was. Develop your team, develop your kids, win with development. In the old days, Wisconsin would take a bunch of guys redshirt and work their asses off, and by the third year, those dudes are helping win Big Ten titles. Then I think he won what, like 12 of them or something like that, something ridiculous, or a top four, I think
Right.
10 for 14 years. So I would say that's too bad. I wish the college coaches would be into the
Yeah, and I would tell all those coaches that say it like that, hey man, you guys are also in the transfer portal taking other people's players. So
Exactly.
don't be a hypocrite. And I think that's the hardest part about this time frame in general of dealing with college coaches NIL, all this stuff, they sometimes play victim way more than they should when they're
All the time.
also the
All the time.
worst case scenario. Like
Yes, always.
we talked about it the last time. How if Lane Kiffin can be in the bowl championship series, the BCS Bowls, and just say, I quit and I'm going to LSU, who is not during the bowl championship series, why are we mad at kids transferring? We shouldn't. The kid
No,
then you
the
like the
adult set the adult set.
right. And then you just said that, hey, these, college guys are mad that, we put effort in and blah, 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 blah
Which
to
is your
make it
job,
better.
by the way.
Yeah, which is your job. And then they go
And you
somewhere
get
else.
and you
Well, you're
get
bringing
paid
somebody else
handsomely.
in. You're bringing somebody else in too. Like
Right.
that is just the nature of the whole system, and if you did a better job of, keeping it personal and wanting the kid loves being around it, then you don't lose them, like. But if
Well, bet
you
on
treat a
yourself to build a
yeah,
program. But the
yeah, if you
funny
treat
about
a
it,
15th man like a 15th man, he's bouncing. I don't care
Yeah,
who he is.
obviously. Right.
Lane Kiffin is a
Exactly.
great example because then he also got mad at people who wouldn't leave with him that told the kids to leave for the play, like don't play the playoffs. Like the whole dream is to play in the playoffs, and now you're telling them not to play. Like what kind of
Right,
person is that? Like no offense, like what the hell,
With
dude?
no punishment, right? Like there was nothing that
right,
restricted him from. He was trying to take the assistant coaches too. Like it's a
It was terrible. What are you doing?
yeah.
right,
That's a
right. And
that's
and I'm
some
not I'm not mad at it. I just don't like how hypocritical sometimes the coaches are in the whole grand scheme of things. And maybe it's because I see the NIL side of it too. But
yeah.
like they want all the power, and I don't care what anybody says. As soon as we started paying players, the players have all the power. It's like
But
that in the
the
NBA. It's
coaches
like
in
that in the
basketball.
NFL. It's
But here's the thing, and I think college coaches should realize this if they're not paying attention. They are becoming less and less important. It's the GM, it's the staff, it's the payroll. Create the NBA is showing you what they're doing. You see a lot younger coaches being hired now. You see the salaries going down. That's going to happen to college basketball. Listen, money has hurt this. 20 years ago, everyone coached because they wanted to coach, develop, and win. The money is so crazy. Coaches then also, from when getting underpaid, are getting overpaid, way overpaid. They can say what they want, but it's ridiculous to coach a game that they love to get paid that kind of money. I would predict that because they need the money, you're going to see those salaries of those high end coaches of the old guys leave, which most of them are getting tired of this. They'll follow the NBA, hire younger coaches, cut your payroll down on the coaching staff so you can get the money to the players.
Yeah, and I think Gavin, you probably know this as well as anybody. I mean, honestly, at this point, the boosters have always been powerful. Like the boosters do more than some of the, coaches do in some scenarios because they're basically dictating what you guys are getting, what you're not getting. So to Mike's
Mhm.
point, if I have a coach that maybe isn't great with X and O's, but he's great at relationships and building culture, honestly, in today's game, if you can get guys to stay 2 or 3 years versus just the one, that may be more valuable than you going to get some offensive mastermind that can run a bunch of good actions. That's just where we're at.
Yeah,
Right.
and then um, it's going to be more interesting because major schools are going to start cutting out the non-profitable programs so they have money for football and basketball, like
Right.
wrestling, tennis. Like not to be mean, but you need more money for players. You need more money for this, and that's losing money over there. What are you going to do? What's good business? It's going to be very interesting to watch how this all unfolds.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying before of like everybody should have to drop what their payments are, for the year or whatever. I don't care what you pay them per month, but tell me what they're making. Hey,
Yes, right.
Do you
I
think
think
there
it
should
was
be a salary cap?
I okay, yes, but where do you draw it? Because like I don't want it to be like baseball where it is like baseball already, but it, like hey, Illinois,
Baseball's about
Oregon.
to go on. Baseball's going on a strike. It's coming.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is like okay, I don't want Illinois, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, all these schools with crazy money, Kansas, that have okay, well, we can go into the $200 million range,
Right. Right.
and then we have Western Illinois who's working with 50,000.
Yes, the
It,
Dodgers,
it, you know what I'm
the
saying? Like I don't want it
Dodgers,
that
and
high,
it's Pittsburgh.
but like as far as I don't know how you would quantify it. There's many more smart people than me, but if you had 85 players, just football and men's basketball, okay, in college right there, and you take the 10 highest paid coaches on five on each staff, whatever it is, the coaches should never make more than the players.
Never,
Never. It,
never.
it doesn't work in any league like that. So those 85 players have to be able to make a certain amount of money. There's obviously there's more money in football than anything. Hey, I don't know what the cap would be. Maybe you say, hey, nobody can go over 50 million. Okay, well, fine. 50 million. If you can't get to 50 million, you can't get to
Too
50 million.
bad. Right.
But we don't have somebody at 100 million and 50,000. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I
I I
I
I
agree with
I
you.
will
I
say
think
this,
there should be a line like the NFL, and I personally think it should adjust every year. If the league makes more money, then you give them more money. If it
but
makes less money, you make less money. But
right. But
right
what I
now,
was
the
saying
field is
before,
terrible. It's a
yeah,
terrible playing field.
but I think what's the hard part is everybody's shooting blind. So, hey, what you think a guy is worth, and I'm an agent, I'm gonna get 6 million for this guy. Why is he 6 million? Like I don't care who the
Right.
kid is. He's 6 million? Like, well, that's the market. Okay, well, nobody knows that. Then
Prove
nobody's
it.
told. Then you
Right.
got to prove it. Okay, well, then you look like a dummy. If you paid a dude 6 million and you get knocked out or you didn't make the tournament, you look
It
like an
would be
idiot.
great to see which
But
guys made
but
really bad
you
investments.
would also you would see the bad investment. It would drop numbers a little bit more manageable, and you see everybody else's manage, and you could be like, oh, hey, Iowa went to the Elite Eight on a $2 million budget. Why did we pay $15 million and we didn't make it to the NCAA
Well,
tournament? Well,
what did Indiana have last year? They like
it,
34 million was their payroll or something.
right, but that's what I'm saying is just like I think when you expose the money, it puts everybody on 10. It puts the market, hey, everybody knows what.
So, how are you going to get everyone to agree to expose it? Who makes that choice? Because the NCAA has no power.
I just think it's got to be. I don't know that collective bargaining would be the case, but like you have to make it more pro model. I mean,
I
like,
think it has
hey,
to be
you could
collective.
see what guys in Europe make. You can see what the NBA guys make. You can see their contracts. Like, it's not hard to do it. You just have to have it set up like a pro. Right now, we have it set up like willy-nilly. I mean, I laugh at NIL because it's like, what did Ogeron say? Back in the day, I used to have to sneak through the back door. Now I can
Yes.
just do it. I can walk right
Right.
through the front
Right.
door.
Well, if you
Like
always ask what are the
it's
rules, people ask me what are the rules. I'm like, there are no rules. The rules are gone.
right,
Yeah.
right, and so.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think it's bad for the game. Obviously, it's not hurting anything. I think the NCAA tournament the last couple years has been outstanding in terms of the gameplay and the players that are there, I think are very marketable. But like, okay, but then let's make it pro. It's not college anymore. We're paying people. It's pro model, so let's just do it pro. It'd be that simple.
You would think that
Yep.
the NCAA, the smartest people, would be able to figure that out.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there has to be a separate, it can just be made up of ADs, but there's got to be some governing body that's your job is focus on figuring out how can we put in regulation for this. Because you're right, they're still treating it as if they want the kids, and this is what kills me sometimes with the criticism, and Gavin, you probably hear this a lot too, is all right, the kids are still kids and they're getting scholarship money in addition to NIL, so like they shouldn't really have much bargaining power. But it's like if you went into a school and you said who are the highest paid people in the school at all, basketball and football players are going to be in the top 20 of all of these high major schools. So like they need to have a certain level of, and I don't know if they need to be unionized or any of that stuff, but
I don't know how you would do it that way,
too
but
difficult.
I'll
Too
tell you what
difficult.
I would
yeah.
love to see, and this is just more the academic person in me. I have no, it's great. Kids are making money. They're making really crazy money. But I've heard also the kids are doing like such general studies just so they can get through and play. I would love to see the colleges shift and now put together a curriculum that helps kids understand investment with the money,
Business,
you know,
yeah.
business sense stuff. Like just create a curriculum for these kids to help them because getting $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, you play, let's say you're a good player and you play 4 years and you have $5 million, like well, no one's really helping them. They're just going to school, play basketball, and take a general class. So why not add something to help them some value?
And yeah, I think,
Agreed.
Gavin, I honestly think that publicly putting out the salaries or whatever you want to call them, right? They have different names for them. If you
Yeah.
publicly put those out, I think that would cause at least 10 of the different regulations to all just happen naturally. Because now you're going to have your boosters saying, like, well, to Mike's point, right? This school only had to pay this much. They made it to the Final Four. They made it to the national championship. We gave you 25 million and you didn't even get out of the first round of the playoffs. Now maybe we're not going to be giving you that money again next year, right?
It
I think
would
it all just ends up compressing that way.
it would be also really interesting. And it would make everyone accountable. It would make the people accountable that pay the kids. It would make the kids accountable that have to perform. The coaches for coaching. It would be very interesting now because all of a sudden the cats are like, okay, great, you're doing great. You made this. Now produce.
And I
And
know
it's
you
on
guys,
everyone. That'd be
you
interesting
guys,
to watch.
yeah, you guys have it every offseason, I'm sure, where you got kids saying, hey, I'm entering the portal. How much am I worth? And you have to basically give them what
You
you think they're,
guess.
yeah,
You
because, and,
guess.
and then some of these programs, they say they're going to pay a guy X amount. And then you talk to the same kid at the end of the year. They're like, yeah, I didn't actually get all of that. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't get paid all of that. It's like, what?
Right.
Well, there's no
Complete
Well,
regulations
mess.
on any of this. That's the problem.
I mean, like, and every single one is so unique to that school. They're not.
Right.
I'm not saying they got to be uniformed, but I think they should have some uniform in it. But like, you got bonuses, you don't have bonuses, you got, extras on top of it, extras on top of that. Like, it's
I
just an
love the idea of
intradict.
performance bonuses. Instead of giving them all the money, your team's got
I am like
Like
I
50-50.
will take this back. Like, I'm not against it, but every performance bonus should be based off team
Because
stuff.
if
I
now it's going to
Because
be not
completely
good.
agree.
if you're gonna do player bonuses, you're gonna have guys go to school and just not care about winning and be like, hey, I want to be first team all league because I get X, Y, and Z extra, 10%
Well,
of my cut, like or what it is,
I
ten
mean, if
percent
you
of my
watch
salary.
basketball, I would say this. It's obvious in February, the kids that are playing for next year's money instead of playing for the team. The basketball before March Madness, there's a lull period of February that basketball's rough to watch. And it's pretty obvious the kids have got other things on their minds. So I think just like a pro sport, yeah, you get bonuses. We win, you produce. We win, you get your bonuses. I think that's great. I think that's, again,
Yeah,
competition. Compete for your bonus. I
right.
like that. It'll be also interesting to see if you put the numbers out, then your boosters could go, like you just said, I saw that school only paid this, we're paying this, and this kid's not even producing, or this, we're not winning. It'd be very interesting to see, do you boosters all of a sudden take a reality check and go, well, maybe they're fully in and want to get more. Maybe they go, what am I doing? Why am I doing? It's like, what's
Well,
the Dallas Cowboy quarterback?
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
No, Aikman. Aikman
Oh,
said, I gave this
Oh,
amount of
yeah.
money to get this kid, and he didn't play great, and he left after 7 months. And Aikman said, you know what? I don't want to do this. I love my
right.
school. This kid was just a hired mercenary. It's interesting. It'd be very interesting how this would all be affected if he put it out.
Yeah, and like I think it would still it's still unique to the school because it's not going to be like we were talking about before. It's not apple to apple. I know schools that pay more money in NIL because their location stinks. I know schools that don't have to pay as much because their location is so nice. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be some differential, stuff there, but like, hey man, we paid five, like we were saying, the big guys, we paid 5 million and we got 22 wins. We had 22 wins last year without a $5 million guy
Right.
on the roster. Okay, we're not paying somebody 5 million now. Like that, it just doesn't make sense. Now, hey, we won the national championship with a $5 million guy. That might mean we pay somebody 6 million eventually because we did it. We won the national championship by going to get the best player out there. Like it's no different in the NBA or any pro league. Like there's really good guys of managing money, The big thing I'm reading on Jaylen Brown right now is the Celtics dumped his salary because 57 million as the number two doesn't make sense on how the NBA's structure
Structure.
is set up. So they got less for him just to dump the salary so they had more options to play with in the future. I don't know that that's the true. I don't understand the NBA as much. I don't follow it, as much, but like that's kind of how I see college going is like, hey, if everybody showed their hand, it would like make people understand how the market actually works.
Right. Well, going back to our first question, how does it affect the high school kids for this year? It's going to be a disaster for a lot of kids. A lot of bubbles are going to get burst. A lot of hopes are going to be dashed because there's just not enough spots.
Right.
And if they
Right.
let last year's class in, oh my God.
That's going to be the
Yeah.
toughest one.
I don't know what you do. To be honest, I don't even know. I mean, that's insane if that happens. How many thousand kids are we talking about all of a sudden are going to become eligible? And then the thousand
Yeah.
more they get to stay the next year. You just added thousands on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, but I think that's to both of you guys' point. I think that's the best advice for 2027 kids and parents is this is not, it hasn't been the last couple of years you guys mentioned, but this is definitely not the year to say, I'll just wait and see what happens. Like if you're not
Yeah.
proactively already building a list of schools that you like, because you guys mentioned some of these kids need to understand you don't just get recruited anymore. Some of these coaches, particularly as you guys know for D3s and D2s, they don't have resources to go watch you play every single time to figure out who they like and who they don't. Right?
Yes.
Like there's got to be some reach out to schools that you like so they at least know who you are.
I can tell you that two elite Division 3 schools and two elite academic Division 1 schools told me we don't. Division 1 schools told me we don't have the time to see everyone. We know which programs every year have the kids that we need that we can recruit from their program that fits what we're looking for. Like that's how specific it is. So that I hate when people say, "Oh, if you're good enough, they'll find you."
They will not.
Unless you're a freak, most kids, you got to get a break. You got to be at the right place at the right time with the right people pushing for you, and you have to perform. It takes a village to make this work. So, getting everyone on the same page, your parents, your friends, your high school coach, your AAU coach, and being in a program that gets you a position to be in the right place. And oh, by the way, you still have to perform. Like all that works or doesn't work.
Yeah, and I would
Yep.
say if you don't have, I would say at least by the first live weekend, if you don't have a list already of at least a handful of schools you're interested in, you're already behind the eight ball. And
Well,
I'll
I
be
would
honest with
tell you,
you,
I think it's because it's back to back, which I think is a mistake. And I think we should have a week on, a week off. Personally,
good.
I think
Yeah.
that I think that's a mistake that the NCAA does with us with the live periods. I think you'll get through. I think you'll know going into the second live week of interest, but you really won't know really who wants you until the day you end the second live period. Then you'll have that next 3 weeks. You're gonna have an idea of who's really interested. If you really have interest, and then you need, like Gavin said, get your butt down there. You don't need an official visit. Get there. We tell our kids, you don't just get your ass down there. We use your official as a celebration if you get after later. It's like grab it.
Right. Right.
And most college coaches have said that to me. I'm sure they said to you, Gavin. I get all the time like, oh my God, man, today's market, kid, get some or grab it. Better grab it.
Right. Especially at the Division 1 level. Hey, you don't have time to think that much anymore.
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, I haven't heard, at least in the last month, I haven't heard any college coach say they have more than two spots that they're looking to get for high school
Remember, it
kids.
went to 15, right? So they have 15 scholarships.
They
Well,
do,
they
but
they
they're
they
not
can
using them.
go up to they can go up
Yeah,
to 15. They
right,
don't have to do that. I know
Right.
right.
some smaller schools will keep it at 12 or 13 so they can use those final ones for NIL purposes or like, hey, mid-season transfer, like all those other things. But a school has the choice to go up to 15 if they want.
Can you
Oh, like
imagine? You
it's
commit to your
tough.
school, you got your scholarship. Then a month later, the rule goes through, and they just took three guys are coming to their school that are the exact same position as you. And now it's great, you're on scholarship, but you are going to be 15 because you're the high school kid.
That's 2026
That's
basketball.
a real good opener for parents. Like, oh, I want to be able to go play right away.
Good luck.
How's that going to happen? Let's do the math. It's almost impossible.
Right.
All the kids that are indifferent in the weight room and who like are just iffy on all that, it's not gonna happen. Especially Division 1, you have to be special to even be a rotation guy. Let alone kids that are
Mm,
like, I want to start right away. Good luck.
right.
Just
Because
not
they don't need you.
at all.
That's a
Again, this goes back to our same thing.
they
What do
want
you
you for
want?
the long run. They don't need you right now.
But it goes back to what we said in the very beginning, right? It's great what we want and what you want. The reality is, what do you have? What can you
Right.
get? It's not what you want, it's what you get.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
For
And
sure.
that's probably the best lesson you can teach them. I get it. We all want this and that. We all want a piece of that pie. But what do you really have?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end today. I know it's been a few hours. Very good conversation. Obviously appreciate
We
you guys.
we can't keep this to an hour. This is always going to be a multi-hour deal.